Hey, is there anything better than beating the Jets? No, it doesn't work. Why not? No, the Jets won this time. Oh, well that wrecks it. Didn't you watch the game? I can never figure out how to get the TV on. The on button. Oh, stop, you're so smart. There's like 30 buttons. Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do. I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Well, today stunk. Leafs lose 5-2 at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets, and I wasn't even there! And I was supposed to be there, and I wanted to be there, and I had tickets to be there! And then my son got a fever, so we decided not to go to the game. But it's okay, because after the game, my daughter got a fever too. So it's fine. It's fine. We're doing great. I got just enough of my voice back to lose it by the end of this video. We're doing great. Not to mention all the coughing between takes, but you're gonna miss all those. That's just for producer Drew to enjoy. And yes, I'll be the one to say it. He deserves it. He deserves it so big. You stink. You can't put anything silly on the screen. It's my birthday. That's a lie. It's in March. It's Christmas! All right. I'm sorry. I love you. Listen, it's Christmas, so it's time to be kinder and more loving and welcoming in of thy neighbor. That being said, can I be the worst for a minute? Is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Yes, a Stanley Cup final appearance. Is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Yes, beating them once more than every 7 games. Is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Yes, not blowing it in 2017 when you should have won the Cup and then being the main focal point for why your team deteriorated over the years to follow. I am, of course, just being salty. I gotta respect the Jets. That's a really good team. And I gotta be honest, I admired the job the Leafs did in this game. I thought they were better than the game against the Islanders. But because they looked better in this game, I have a bigger beef with the way they lost this game than the way they lost the Islanders game. Because look at the Islanders game, all right? Matthews is out. We know Matthews is out. They looked awful. They looked tired and lethargic, and they never really looked like they had a chance in that one. They barely even had the energy for a push. Like in this one, way until late in the game, I was like, hey, you never know. John Tavares still lives and breathes and has chosen to do so amongst us, so maybe they got a chance. My theory for the Leafs-Islanders game, after watching them play today, I think they're sick. And I know that's not an excuse, but it kind of tracks on account of, hey, anyone watching this from around the greater Toronto area, you sick? No? Okay, is your partner sick? Okay, are your kids sick? Is your uncle sick? Are your grandparents sick? Everyone's sick! This game, here's the challenge. You still don't have Matthews, and you don't have Chris Tanev, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say he's been the Leafs' best defenseman. And while, yes, you are at home, that is great. You're playing the Winnipeg Jets, who are the top team in the NHL right now. They went basically undefeated, except for against the Leafs, had a bit of a speed wobble, and they've proven they're still a really good team. They smacked the Bruins recently, which I greatly appreciated. Highly entertaining, great footage, good stuff. But against the league's best teams, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn more about your group than you do in a Friday night game against Buffalo. Every team has their sleepy performances. You can't have a sleepy performance against the Winnipeg Jets because you'll lose 8-0. Number one, just throwing this stat out there. If you thought the Leafs missed a lot, they did! Shout out to Jesse Blake for finding this stat. The Winnipeg Jets had 35 shot attempts in the whole game. 27 of them were shots on goal. The Leafs had 48 shot attempts. 25 of them were shots on goal. The Leafs had 10 more shot attempts than the Jets, but 2 fewer shots on goal. The Jets are crazy efficient. And I don't know if any stat publicly tracks how many passes hit shin pads in this one, but I'm sure the Leafs would lead the league in that department too. First goal against, all right, you can maybe contribute it a little bit to bad luck. Jets take a shot, it doesn't find its way through, but there's the small issue of where's the puck? Nobody knows except Kyle Connor, and that's just a bad position to be in. He scores because of course he does. He's Kyle Connor, it's 1-0 Jets. And it was only 1-0 after 1, but you knew something after 1. It's going to be really difficult to beat Connor Hellebuyck. He scored 5 times. I think it was 5-on-5 goals against Connor Hellebuyck last time. It's probably not going to happen today. And I think sometimes when you're playing against a goalie this good, you can be guilty of doing a little too much. A minute into the second period, Mitch Marner has the puck at the point. He's been doing so much of that lately. He's basically been a quarterback out there. Not even when there's a power play, he's just kind of always there. And there's nothing really to complain about with the fact that he's doing that on account of he picks up points nearly every game. In fact, he had an assist in this one. But this one decision, I don't get. Because you might not like this goal because Oliver Ekman-Larsson lost a foot race, and if he had won the foot race, the goal probably doesn't go in. Marner getting intercepted is why there was a foot race race to begin with. He's running out of space. He doesn't want to lose the zone, so he tries to flip the puck. I'm not sure if it's someone who's off screen or he tries to flip it in the high slot to Knies. Either way, Scheifele intercepts it, and OEL, who's right there, come on, give me the puck! Doesn't get it and now has to skate as fast as he can. And what happens? Scheifele feathers a pass to Kyle Connor, who basically one-times it on the backhand perfectly. Again, there's no margin for error against teams that are playing like this. The Winnipeg Jets have their flaws, and their top guy's ability to score goals is not one of them. It's 2-0 now. John Tavares scores on the power play to bring the Leafs within 1. We love that. However, I'd like to point something out. Morgan Rielly had to be bleeding from the face in order for this penalty to be called. They called a penalty later in the game for puck over the glass. I plan on talking about that for a little bit later in the video because there was a certain referee in this game. No, it wasn't Wes McCauley. This guy is somehow worse. But if you were saying to yourself, it feels like it's been a while since the Leafs last had a power play. Yeah, you're right. The second period of this game was the first time the Leafs had a power play since the third period of Friday's game against Buffalo. We didn't talk about this yesterday. The Leafs didn't get a penalty. The Islanders didn't get a penalty. There wasn't a single penalty last game. And pardon me while I just point out, no, you're wrong. Sorry, but if you're an NHL ref and you get to the end of a game and no one took a penalty at all, you should be like, ooh, don't know if I did my job. Most people have to pay to get that much cardio in, and they paid you? That's a hustle. That is a hustle. Okay, look, the Leafs are within 1. Hooray, hooray. We like that. First goal against, maybe a little bit of bad luck. All right. Second goal, maybe you could have made a better decision. Okay. Third Winnipeg Jets goal is just beneath the NHL. It's beneath a team hoping to accomplish anything. And I'm going to be really hard on this player here because there is so much competition on this team for roles on this team, roles in the top 6. The team desperately needs players in the bottom 6 who can not just score, because this player can score, but outscore their opponent. What have we seen with the third line? Like, what did we see last game? They got lit up. The kind of line that you can throw out there in any game, and they better score too, because they're probably going to allow 1. The puck is in the Leaf zone. Leafs are a little clustered up. The Jets have a trailing Dylan DeMello, but he's not like jumping up in the rush or anything. And right next to Bobby McMahon is Mark Scheifele, and gosh darn it, he has no idea that human being exists and lives and breathes right next to him. Naturally, Mark Scheifele scores because if you give him an inch, it's gonna go in the back of your net. Dude, if you have aspirations of, okay, Bobby McMahon, great story, right? College signing, ends up with the Marlies. Okay, does really good with the Marlies. All right, earns an NHL contract. All right. Struggles to stay in the NHL. Oh, we don't like that. Performs well enough that he gets another shot. Okay. Doesn't do all that well, so he's teetering on a healthy scratch. Oh. But, hey, someone can't play tonight, so he gets back into the lineup. Oh. He scores a hat trick. Oh. They play him the next game. He scores again. Oh. And he stays in the lineup, and he earns himself a 3-year deal, and he is a consistent contributor on this team. We love it. We love that. So you cracked the NHL. You're consistently in the NHL. Now what do you want to do? Now that you're here. You know what? You're here. You're here. You might as well win. And this is not how you win. It's not. Like, dude, look at the gaps on this team. There's no reason Bobby McMahon shouldn't be playing in the top 6. I mean, Max Pacioretty's been very good. Matthew Knies has been good, although he's kind of fallen off a little bit lately. Like, there is a wide open lane for Bobby McMahon to not just be a big contributor to this team, not just be in the top 6 for this team, he could be the team's top left winger. He really could. And why not? He's big. Check. He's fast. Check. He can shoot it. Check. We've seen him pull off a few sexy passes this year. Check. Do you mind him defensively? Most of the time you don't. Check. Do you want him out there when you need a goal? Yes, check. But if you don't know where the other team's best players are, you are not going to win in this league. And if it sounds like I'm picking on Bobby McMahon, sure, fine, whatever. It's him today, but it'll be someone else tomorrow. Listen, you can't have this happen. You can't. There are 2 players on the Winnipeg Jets you can't miss. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor. They have other good players, but if you leave those 2 alone, bad! No! Listen, The Leafs are a good team. They are. Bobby McMann is a good player. He is. We got to stop thinking about this team like it's last year's team. We got to stop comparing this year's team to teams of the past. Teams of the past, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if it was well documented enough. Lost! This year is about changing the standard. It's about raising it. The Leafs have spent a lot of the fall and early parts of the winter first place in the Atlantic Division. Now, Florida recently overtook them, but they've been playing this little game of back and forth, and the Leafs leapfrog them, and the Panthers take it back, and the Leafs take it back again, and the Panthers take it back again. This play is beneath the skills of a player who wants to be on a team that matters. Out of all the sins committed in this game, this one is by far the worst. It might have been miscommunication with David Kampf. Shoulder check. He's right there! He's right there! No one else was gonna get him but you. He's right there. And David Kampf, by the way, sure, if we want to talk about that, he played a hair under 15 minutes in this game, which is too much. McMahon played over 16. He played 21 shifts, David Kampf. 21! The team high was 24. David Kampf played as many shifts in this game as John Tavares. Now, David Kampf played 14 minutes and 48 seconds. John Tavares played over 21 minutes, so not every shift is built the same. But, and I'm just going to throw this out there as a gentle suggestion, they might need someone else! I'm sorry, I'm not feeling good about the Matthews news and the fact that he missed this game and last game. I'm not saying it's not the right decision on account of Christmas break is coming up. Get him some rest. Get him some rest. But the last time the Leafs needed to get him some rest, he was day-to-day, and then he was in Europe, and he missed like a month, and then he was back for a hot minute, and he performed well in a hot minute. Now he's gone again! And if we're talking about players who you want to have on your team, if you want to matter at all, Austin Matthews! Yeah, I'm worried. Now, the next decision, I don't understand at all. Joseph Woll makes a save. All right. That's good. Oh, the puck's still loose. Oh, they're batting away at it. Oh, Mark Scheifele scores. But, watch the replay. Gabe Vilardi moved Joseph Woll's pad, even though the puck was loose. And it's, I don't know, that's no goal, right? And the Leafs don't even review it. Now, Jesse Blake of SDPN was at this game, and he got a quote from Craig Berube after the game about why he didn't challenge this. Craig Berube says the Leafs didn't challenge the 4-1 goal because the video crew had a look at it and Woll didn't have the puck covered. If he had it covered, they would have challenged. Okay, so I didn't know that was the rule, because if a goalie has the puck covered and you physically move the goalie like Gabe Vilardi did on this one, it's goalie interference. It's no goal. And I wanted them to challenge this in the moment, but, and it does need to be said, the Leafs video crew deserves the benefit of the doubt. They're crazy on offside reviews. They got a goaltender interference done the other night that helped them win the game in a big way. So I trust them to know what should and shouldn't be reviewed, but Connor Hellebuyck in net, the Jets playing the way they're playing, you're down 4-1 if this goal counts. There's basically no time left in the game. There's half a period left? Less? I just checked. There's like 8 minutes left in the game, and it's 4-1 against Connor Hellebuyck. Yeah, that's bad. You don't review that. You're basically going, all right, well, game's done. And you know what I hate about that? I said that out loud. I'm like, well, then the game's over. Less than 2 minutes later, John Tavares snipes it past Connor Hellebuyck, and I'm just like, ugh. Because he didn't feel like it was over, did it? No, you're stupid just like me. You're naive just like me. You thought they were going to do it. John Tavares with his 17th of the season, and should have mentioned that his first one was his 200th as a Leaf. This stat from Leafs PR is insane. John Tavares' power play goal is his 200th goal as a Maple Leaf. With the goal, Tavares becomes the 5th player in NHL history to score 200 goals for 2 franchises, joining Wayne Gretzky, Lanny McDonald, Mark Messier, and Keith Tkachuk. So that group's pretty good. Wayne Gretzky, widely regarded as the best player of all time. Mark Messier, he has his own trophy, even though it's a silly one. Lanny McDonald, who is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And Keith Tkachuk, who, I just learned this from Wikipedia, one of 47 players to have scored 500 goals. Tkachuk remains one of only 4 eligible players to not be a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, if Matthew or Brady keep playing like this, there will be an argument to put Keith in the Hall as a builder. That wouldn't even be as bad as putting Colin Campbell in the Hall, to be honest. But that is some pretty good company for John Tavares, man. But unfortunately, that's as close as they would get. The Winnipeg Jets, empty netter, it's over. And they finally, for the first time since Is There Anything Better Than Beating the Leafs, they finally beat the Leafs. Questions. So Oliver Ekman-Larsson got cross-checked in the back at the end of the game and knocked down, and there was no penalty call, even though it happened right in front of the ref. Dan points out, gee, I wonder what ref wears number 27. Was it Mitch Dunning? No. Was it Gord Dwyer? No. Oh, it was Eric Furlat. Oh, that's good. Eric Furlat, who has officiated, what is that? 180 playoff games. What a league. Dude, he is so routinely part of non-calls that drive you nuts. If you need a game to get out of hand, you give Eric Furlat a call. From Frizbob, seriously, what's Eric Furlat's beef with Toronto? I don't think Eric Furlat has anything against Toronto. I just think that's the kind of hockey he wants. And I try not to do the age thing, but there are a lot of older guys who are like, let him play. And the older the ref is, the more experienced they are, the more playoff games you get. And that's why you get away with murder in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I just think there are some that are in control of the way the league is run who genuinely, whether they would admit it out loud or not, at their core, resent today's game. They resent the way today's game is played. They long for what they think they remember of yesteryear, and they're holding the game back. And oh well. It's not the worst non-call ever against OEL. He's had worse. This little mini rant is my Lifetime Achievement Award for Eric Furlat. Morgan Rielly, this one's interesting. Morgan Rielly is -9, by far the worst number of any Leafs player. He's producing at a way lower rate than recent years while still serving as a total tire fire defensively. He leads all regular Leafs D in giveaways, both rate and total. When can we have a real convo about how big a problem he is? Okay, listen, all of that is valid, except for the giveaway thing. The way they track those stats suck. Morgan Rielly needs to be better. Like, at the end of the day, he's their highest paid D, making $7.5 million. And I so readily and unreservedly earlier in this video called Chris Tanev the Leafs' best defenseman. That should not be the case. Morgan Rielly should be the Leafs' best defenseman every time he laces up skates. He's Morgan Rielly. He's been here since 2012. He's got the $7.5 million contract times 8. He wears a letter and has for many years. He's got to be their best player. Here's where I'm going to throw something in there. Tanev and McCabe play together, and they've been absolutely incredible. Okay, we like that. Rielly and Tanev lasted 3 games? 4 games? And Rielly and Hakanpää lasted 3 games? 4 games before Hakanpää got hurt. I believe, in my heart of hearts, the Leafs got Hakanpää to play with Rielly. Rielly's best D partner of his career, you could argue, is like first year of TJ Brody. When he got here, he was good. He's brutal now. But when he got here, he was great. Or Luke Schenn. I can tell you the one that he won a playoff series with. It's, well, not first year. It's the return of Luke Schenn. A big, steady, right-handed, stay-at-home defenseman. That's Jani Hakanpää. That's him to a T. It's perfect. All summer long, I talked about how Tanev is going to be the best partner Rielly has ever had. And then they don't play together. Rielly has had OEL, who is good, but he's left-handed, and we saw it a bunch of times in this game. Puck comes up the boards on the right side, and OEL does a beautiful job of it, but he has to cradle it and go backwards, and it's just everything takes a split second longer than it would take if he simply shot the other way. Okay, well, we'll give him a right-hander. We'll give him Connor Timmins. I'm sorry, everyone. What are we talking about? He's played like, what, a dozen games with Philippe Myers as his D partner? What are we talking about? And I get it. Like, I wouldn't take Tanev away from McCabe either if they were giving me the best results, but man, Rielly, I know he's the common denominator. I know. But who out of Timmins or Myers or yet another guy who shoots left was supposed to work? Like the way I just described Luke Schenn, right? As a guy who Morgan Rielly played best with and needed. Does that describe OEL at all? And speaking of Jani Hakanpää and not knowing when the heck a guy is going to get back from injury, Yanni Hagenbach! Do not ask the Toronto Maple Leafs when someone is returning to the lineup. They will simply tell you the days of the week in French and Spanish, which is useful information to have, except for when it comes to answering your question! I'll give you this. Here I am saying, well, maybe Morgan Rielly isn't being put in a position to succeed. And after all the reasons that I laid out, I feel like it's a valid argument. Yet, this is like the 20th different person we've had this argument with. But at some point, even if it's not necessarily fair, you look at your top defenseman and you go, make it work. I don't care how you do it. Maybe these are just the sort of discussions that we have when we're mad. Because they lost, and it's no fun that they lost. But, hey, brush it off. Brush it off. It's Christmas. The Leafs aren't going to play for a few days, which means you're not going to watch the Leafs for a few days. You have yourself a good holiday, a good Christmas, a happy New Year. Well, they're going to play before the New Year, but have one anyway. And for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Take care of yourself this holiday. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy Feast of St. Stephen. That's Boxing Day. My Nona used to always call me up about Feast of St. Stephen, and it didn't resonate with the people around me. It was strange. It should be a bigger deal. They should have like sales and stuff. And what?